booster. You know, quite frankly, you really hurt my feelings last week. I extended out my hand like a gentleman. And you really hurt my feelings, man. I mean, it was almost as bad as the time you quit, took your ball, and went home like a little bitch. You know what was great, though? The pipe bomb. Everybody loves the pipe bomb, right, Chicago? Yeah, my God, so good. Legendary. What you would call a great promo, and I think it's fair to say, Punky, that the pipe bomb is your best moment. Except here's the problem, bud. Every MJF moment is the best MJF moment. Because unlike you, I'm not a one-trick pony. And don't get it twisted, I respect you, man. I respect everything you've done. Hell, I even respect the fact that you're straight edge. Granted, never in my wildest dreams could I have possibly imagined a straight edge man could look so much like a meth addict. And it must be extremely difficult to be straight edge, considering if I had your face, I'd need to down 8 shots of whiskey just to look myself in the mirror. But you know what I can't respect, CM? Is how you've handled our little situation here. And you can pretend there isn't one, but there is. There is. You know, you would do all your quaint little interviews and they would ask you, who are some opponents you would like to go up against? And you would name every single wrestler underneath the sun, except for moi. Now you can pretend it's because you weren't interested, but in reality, it's because you didn't want none. And who could blame you, Punky? I mean, your whole entire career on the stick, you've been big fish, small pond, and standing across from me, you're just a freaking minnow. You didn't want to go toe-to-toe with me on the stick, Punk? Well, too bad. Because I'm about to verbally finish you quicker than your UFC career. You the first time. So check your watch, Papa Punk, because if you decide to retort, it won't say clobbering time. It'll say out of time. You can drop cute little pipe bombs all you want, because I'm MJF, and I drop nukes. I'm so disappointed in you. But let's not start there. Let's show our guest a little bit of Chicago hospitality. I want to thank you first and foremost for last week. You introduced yourself to me. That's what a proper young man is supposed to do to their elders. And I had no idea your first name was Maxwell. This entire time, I thought MJF stood for my jealous fan. See, I got the time. Seems like it still kind of does, doesn't it? If you're so hung up on the fact that I never mentioned you anytime I did press, anytime I ever did an interview, I never brought your name up. Well, that was by design. The last thing I wanted to do is feed your rotten little ego. Look at me, Maxwell. I'm in your head. Probably has a lot to do with the fact that there's a poster of me on your wall. Doesn't change the fact that I'm disappointed because I've always heard about the great MJF, and then last week I did what nobody else in this industry, nobody else in AEW has been able to do. I shut up the great MJF without saying a word. And you had 7 days, had a whole week to think of good singers, and you came out here with the lowest hanging fruit. He thinks he's somebody. He thinks what he does is revolutionary to the wrestling business, when in reality, he's just a less famous Miz. Okay, settle down, settle down, settle down. You know, Punky, that was really solid. I mean, really creative stuff. You know, it was almost what I wanted. Come to think of it, that phrase, almost what I wanted, kind of perfectly encapsulates your whole entire run here thus far, don't you think? I suppose it's true. Nostalgia. Nostalgia is a drug that causes us to misconstrue our memories, and you, my friend, are no more than nostalgia. And guess what, bud? You were right. I was a fan. I'm not ashamed to admit it. How couldn't I have been? I mean, in this ring, on the microphone, nobody could touch you. You were the best. Or so I thought, Chicago. Because ever since your almighty return, you've struggled to beat the easiest of competition, and you've struggled to say, quite literally, anything of intrigue. Oh my God. Punk, your breath smells like shit. It's probably because you've been kissing so much ass recently. I mean, you have been robotically kissing ass all over the place. You know what? I'm gonna do a little impression of you real quick. Chicago, do you mind if I give you a quick impression? It sure is great to be back here in insert name of town. I sure do love being a part of insert name of company. Gee whiz, I sure am looking forward to my matchup against insert name of opponent, Robotic Pucker Up Punk. You've gone soft, man. Your hair's going gray, and based on your eyes, if anybody needs to go to sleep, it's you, bud. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? Something just hit me. This is no longer CM Punk. This is PG Punk.
One tablet, one dose.
What happened to the guy I grew up on, man? What happened to the renegade, the ass kicker, the outsider? Because you might as well be coming out here preaching hustle, loyalty, and respect.
Except here's the problem, PG. I can see you. Hell, I can see through you, buddy. You claimed you'd only come back for the younger talent, and yet you also claimed you'd only come back for a boatload of money. You claimed you couldn't fix professional wrestling from your couch in Chicago, and yet you stayed put on that couch for 7 long years. Excuse after excuse not to come back, poor K-Punk. Why? Is it because you were too busy making comic books nobody read and movies nobody saw? Or is it because you were terrified? Scared you couldn't hang anymore? Maybe scared you never could hang in the first place? And I have the microphone, Chicago! And I'm here to tell you, you should be scared, man. In the other company, these people looked at you like a Colt hero because they felt you were held down. You should have been utilized and showcased as the #1 guy. And now, yeah, great, and now here you are. You have all the opportunity to prove these people right. But can you? Do you people think CM Punk can do it? I'm glad they think that now, Punk, but are they gonna feel that way in a month, 2 months, a year? I don't envy you, man, but I know you envy me. And I know why you don't like me, PG Punk. I know why. It's because I represent everything about this business that you hate. I'm every single thing you hate because I was born for this. Oh yeah, I'm a clean-cut professional. I'm every single wrestling analyst, promoter, and pundit's wet dream, while you, on the other hand, were a scrawny, tatted-up misfit from the dumpiest part of the Midwest, known as Chicago. You had to work your tail off to become the man you are today, and I commend you for that, but I know what keeps you up at night. I know what eats you up inside. It's the fact that after all your hard work, all your blood, sweat, tears, and sacrifice you've given this sport, deep down you know it, people know it. Your whole career been nothing more than second best. Whether it was the "you can't see me" man, or the King of Kings, you were never quite up to snuff, were you? And I can assure you, now that you're standing in my ring, in my company, things will be no different, because you may claim to be the best in the world, but I'm better than you. And you know it!
Hey Brandon, what you gonna do?
There's some truth in what you just said. Little bit. Scared. Coming back after 7 years, a little bit. See, I'm not gonna lie, not even to you. I certainly never lie to these people. I didn't know if these people would remember me. I didn't know if these people would care. I didn't know if I still had it. But trust me, I'm not scared any longer. Certainly not scared of you. Because the timing might not match up, but I was selling out Madison Square Garden when you were marking out for Rosie O'Donnell. And the last time on this show, you did a song and dance, you made the New York Times. Wow! Do you want to sing me a song right now, Maxwell? Don't worry. You're standing in the ring with a professional, and you're going to make the New York Times again, but this time it's going to be the obituaries. because you have just enrolled yourself into a college your parents cannot afford. You talk too much. Yeah, just like me back in the day, except I always backed it up, and you can't back up shit without your backup. FTR, Sean Spears, Wardlow. That's how you get things done around here, and I never mention you in interviews because I never had to. I looked at AEW and I said, wow, that's the place I want to be. That's the place I want to test myself, and I went for the heart and soul of AEW, Darby Allin, and boy, that just chews you up, doesn't it? And I beat Darby Allin, and I didn't need a ring to do it. You're too busy talking about how you're the most powerful of the four pillars. You don't even realize you've been replaced by Britt Baker. And while you think you've made some excellent points, I think you talk too much and we've wasted these people's time. They call Chicago the second city, not because there's a city that's better than it, not because there's this city that was first, and you want to call me number two? I'll proudly wear number two with a bullet, because just like Chicago, they call us the second city because when it burned to the ground, we just built right back up on top of the smoldering embers. And who's the man around here? Who's number one? Is it you? No, I don't think so. The only way you're going to be number one is if we all wait around long enough for Tony to have a daughter that you marry. Last time we were here in Chicago, and hell yeah, I'm happy to be here. I gave everybody free ice cream bars. The only thing I can think that's a better welcome back gift than that is punching you in your little needle dick right here, right now.
That was the best 20 minutes of AEW's like TNT that we have seen. Now, if you remember, 2 weeks before Full Gear, we got CM Punk, Eddie Kingston on Rampage. I think it was live. Yeah, it was live. It was in St. Louis. And these guys went to war on the mics. And we had one of the best segments, the best promo segment in Rampage history. CM Punk said, well, people thought that was the best. I'm going to top one. I'm going to do one better with MJF. And the perfect place to do this was in Chicago. Man, Fazberry, G Fuel gets the spot. Now, we had The Miz, John Cena, Triple H mentioned in this promo by both men. I don't think I've ever heard a Miz chant that loud before. And the guy's not even in the building. He doesn't even work for this company. What the hell were we getting here? This was awesome. Does AEW hold this match off till Full Gear? Not Full Gear, but Revolution. Or are we getting this at Winter is Coming on the 15th of next month? And if I'm correct, that is what, 3 weeks away? Yeah, that is 3 weeks away. And I don't know when we're getting this match, but this match is going to be great. We know who's going to be the first man to beat CM Punk. His name is Maxwell Jacob Freeman. This was awesome. Both guys went out there and killed it. Those weren't just, those weak-ass punches that you see on WWE television. Those were haymakers. Those, both were dropping nukes. Both were just beating the piss out of each other on the microphone. And I can tell you right now, I bet you as soon as this promo was over, the WWE shills, the WWE ass kissers, the people who You think we're getting paid by WWE to defend the garbage. You'd be like, but AEW stands don't like when WWE does a 20-minute promo every Monday and Friday. Yes, because they do it every single week. And it's always the same shit. Somebody comes out to cut a promo. Then they're interrupted about 2 minutes in. Then the next person's interrupted. And the next person comes out. And we get 4, 5, 6 people coming out. They all fight. We have a 6-man tag match. Only 4 there, we get a tag team match. It happens like that every single fucking time. Or we set up a main event match. Because we always go into Monday Night Raw and SmackDown not knowing what the main event is. We knew what the main event tonight was going to be last week. When it was made, that 8-man tag match was made. WWE should learn how to book a good show. We don't need to see a promo to open the show every single week. I love Roman Reigns as much as everyone else, but we don't need the tribal chief coming out and cutting a promo to kick off the show. Honestly, in my opinion, most of the time, Roman's promo should be left for the end of the night. This was great. And another reason why people aren't mad, are loving this, is because we don't get opening promos like this every single week. We always usually have a banger of a match. Well, like I said, the AEW still, if they do one thing right on this show, the opening match, or segment in this case, is a banger every single week. This was awesome. This was round 1. Do I think we're going to get another round of promos before we get the match? Probably. I think there's a lot more to say between these two. Just so much good in this. If you didn't watch the show and you wanted to see what was the best part of the show, you can listen to the first 18 so minutes of this video, this podcast right here, and you will see, and you will listen and hear MJF and CM Punk just go at it, on the microphone, dropping nukes left and right, haymakers left and right, to where this is definitely going to be a match worth seeing. I want to see this match next Wednesday. That's how good this promo was. I actually wanted to see this match on Friday. Obviously, you're not going to put it on a tape show for Rampage. It's either this happens at Winter is Coming, or this happens on the first episode of the flagship show on TBS. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see. But Tony Khan got us hyped up for what is going to be a damn good match, and will be the first man to beat CM Punk, which will eventually catapult him into being the next AEW World Champion. I say about maybe Revolution or Double or Nothing time. Honestly, with the history of Adam Cole and Adam Hangman Page, I think that Adam Cole versus Hangman Page might happen at Revolution, and then you go to MJF at the pay-per-view in May at Double or Nothing in Vegas. I think that would be the best way to go with that. Okay, so that was honestly the best way to start off this show. And you had to start the show off with CM Punk. They're in Chicago. Now, some people would probably argue that they probably could have went with Bryan Danielson versus Colt Cabana, who is also from Chicago, to kick off the show. And yes, you could have did that. Held this off till later in the show, but this was absolutely perfect. Now, after the promo was done, and pretty much they were sizing each other up. MJF took his jacket off, his tie off, his scarf off. Looked like we were going to get something. He rolled out of the ring and he left. He grabbed all of his stuff and he left. It's not time for these two to touch. I do not want to see these guys throwing hands, fighting, or doing anything until they have their match. That is what you do. Now, that was how the show started. CM Punk was still in the ring. He was dressed to wrestle because he had a match against QT Marshall. Why is CM Punk wasting his time with a guy like QT Marshall? Which, did I hear Excalibur right? Did he say QT Marshall has 17 years of experience? I know CM Punk has 17 plus years of experience, but did he really say QT Marshall has 17 years of experience? If that's the case, dude needs to retire from in-ring competition, because he absolutely does not need to be in the ring. He takes up time from other talent. So that was it was a nothing match. CM Punk wins GTS 1-2-3, and that was that. Tony Schiavone is backstage with Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. Tony mentions the group has a lot of momentum right now. Christian says that's right, and when we feel this way, good things happen. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus are currently the #1 ranked tag team, and says he's going to make sure they win the tag team titles. AKA, I'm going to turn on you when you have your tag team match, and that's where the Jungle Boy Christian Cage match comes. When are we getting the tag team title match between the Lucha Bros and the Jurassic Express? I don't have a clue. But you clearly just showed your hand. Everyone predicted on the road to All Out this year that Christian Cage was possibly going to turn on Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. And if plans didn't change and Hangman Page had his match at All Out against Kenny Omega instead of Full Gear, which when you look back at it in hindsight is 2020, Full Gear was the better place for this match, for that match. Many people predicted that Christian was going to turn on Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and we were going to get that match at All Out. That didn't happen. So whenever this match happens between the Jurassic Express and the Lucha Bros, Christian's going to turn on Jurassic Express, and that's obvious. It does also look like what the blow off to the Super Click and Jurassic Express Christian Cage was the match with Bobby Fish and Adam Cole last Friday night. So looks like both of those guys moved on. Apparently the Young Bucks are still not cleared to wrestle. So it's just Adam Cole and Bobby Fish holding down the fort right now. So gonna be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah. Backstage, Tony Schiavone talks to... I'm sorry, well, we moved on that. So Eddie Kingston talks about Jon Moxley and like missing him and everything and wishing him good luck. 2.0 and Daniel Garcia show up. They want to apologize. And then Matt Lee says Kingston isn't hungry any longer, and he knows the kiss of death. That's the kiss of death for a fighter. Parker says he's sitting alone and that he knows he couldn't help his friend Moxley. Kingston stands up and Garcia throws coffee in Kingston's face, and I'm thinking, you just signed Daniel Garcia's death warrant. Do not, and I mean do not, ever throw coffee in the face of a man like Eddie Kingston. I'm telling you right now, there were people who after he got the coffee out of his eyes. 2.0 and Daniel Garcia are lucky there were personnels and wrestlers around to hold back Eddie Kingston, because if he would have got his hands on these guys, he'd probably be in jail for murdering these guys. You don't do something like that. Daniel Garcia is going to be beat up and hurt on Friday night, more than likely. I do not pray for that man. I do not want to be in that man's shoes on Friday, which of course is being taped tonight. Gun Club, Colton and Billy Gunn versus Bear Country. This was another nothing match. Bronson got thrown. I think it was Bronson got thrown into the steel steps. Boulder got thrown into the steel steps, and he was done. Bronson got hit with the Austin got involved as the referee was distracted. He tripped Bronson. Colt hit the Colt 45 and wins the match. So I don't know if Boulder's hurt because he just got thrown into the steel steps and left his partner alone. Post match, Sting emerges. Austin Gunn tries to go after him. Darby Allin comes out of the tunnel and just lays Austin out. And my God, he hit him like a bullet. And Austin went down. These two head to the ring. Gun Club jump out and make their way to the ramp. Gun Club heads out of the ringside area, up the ramp, and that was that. So it looks like the Gun Club and Sting, the Gun Club versus Sting and Darby Allin is far from over. Now the Gun Club do have a 3-on-2 advantage over Sting and Darby Allin. So will we possibly see, for the time being? Well, I can think of only one man who's going to do that, because they still have done nothing since the Gun Club turned heel, attacking Paul White. So it just makes sense that, because if that's the case, they're going Paul White's going to come out and he's going to join up with Sting and Darby Allin for this match against the Gun Club. And of course, the Gun Club's going to get their ass kicked. Bobby Fish and Adam Cole talking about how Cole is not in a good mood and everything sucks right now. They lost at the pay-per-view. They lost last week. The Young Bucks are still not clear. They mentioned talking every day. Cole talks about talking to the Bucks every day, just like he does to Bobby Fish. And they're like best friends. The family. The best friends roll up and make fun of the guys in their friendship. Cole says there's no way Yuta and Cassidy are better friends than him and Bobby Fish. Cassidy and Yuta step up. Cole says, okay, they're just pushing the luck and are going to find out. And Cole and Fish head out. So that match is happening actually on Friday. So that should be a good match on Friday. Can't wait to see what happens. This is going to be the one where Cole and Fish have definitely got to be... Cole and Fish are probably going to win. Really, Yuta's going to take the pinfall. Now, this does hopefully mean that last Wednesday was it between HFO and the Best Friends, because that feud went on way too long. And it looks like the Best Friends are moving on to Bobby Fish, Adam Cole, and when the Young Bucks come back, the Young Bucks. Maybe this means Trent's going to be coming back too, because... yeah, it's a full-on... they have a disadvantage with that too, so maybe Trent's on his way back. No idea, no timetable for his recovery. So maybe he's on his return soon. And when the Bucks are cleared, we'll have an 8-man tag match. Backstage, we go to commercial break. We come back, and Tony Schiavone's with Team Taz as they have an official offer to bring Dante Martin into the group. Leo Rush is looking on. Taz wonders, why is he even here? Rush says, anything has to do with Dante has to do with me. And he says he doesn't want any, they don't want to be involved with this. He puts the pen down. Dante stops him, grabs the pen, signs the contract. Hook offers him some kind of snack or something. He takes it. He leaves. Rush is in a state of shock. Team Taz and celebrates, and Martin walk off with them. And I'm thinking, this is definitely not the end of this. I just have this feeling that Leo Rush and Dante Martin are fucking with Team Taz. Maybe Darius is on his way back. Maybe we get Hook making his debut soon. And Leo Rush and Top Flight have a 6-man against powerhouse Team Taz with Hook making his debut soon. I don't know. So this is definitely not the end between Rush and them. It just seems so weird that you put Rush and Dante Martin together only for Dante Martin to say, fuck this, I'm going to go be with Team Taz, because it was, Dante Martin was on his own, then he starts teaming with and being mentored by the Seidel brothers, then Leo Rush comes in, takes over mentoring him, and then all of a sudden he's joining Team Taz. Something's up. Something's got to be up. Thunder Rosa versus Jamie Hayter with Britt Baker and Raul TBS title tournament match. The winner of this will take on Jade Cargill. And just with that notion right there, you knew who was winning this match. But how did Thunder Rosa win? The match was good. This is by far the, up until this point, Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida was the best match in the tournament. This was better. This was just way better. Now, I'm not saying Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa wasn't a bad match, and we're going to have their third match probably coming up very soon. They might have a match at Winter is Coming. Who knows? But they have a good match here. And Rebel, Thunder Rosa had Hayter in a submission. She had her in a Russian leg sweep into a submission. I don't remember what Excalibur called it. Rebel distracts the ref. The women's champ comes into the ring, pulls Rosa off. Hayter gets up. Hayter holds Rosa. The Faker goes for the super kick. Rosa moves, and Hayter just takes that thing full force in the face. I'm like, oh shit, she just got rocked. And I just have to say this about fucking Jamie Hayter. How this woman does not have a fucking concussion with how many times her head has been just rocked. Like Thunder Rosa hitting a splash on her and pretty much smacking her head in between the mat in her body. I just don't know how she's not concussion all over the place. So Thunder Rosa throws the champ into Rebel. They're both knocked out of the ring. She flips her into a pin. She flips Jamie Hayter into a pin for the 1, 2, 3, and Thunder Rosa moves on to Jade Cargill. Which means we have one match left in this part of the tournament, and that is Chris Statlander and Ruby Soho. They have built this match up more than any other match. Even though Shida and Deeb had prior history, that match beforehand. They had video packages for this match. They've had interactions on Dark and Dark Elevation between these two. There's actual, like, build, heat, something for this match coming up next Friday. If that's not the main event of next week's show, I will be shocked. They have put so much stock into Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. It honestly feels like they have been building up the finals of this tournament, even though it's not. It's a second round match. Now, of course, after the match, Jamie Hayter wasn't happy. She blames the champ. The champ tries to apologize. She shoves her away and walks off. I don't know if she's done, but she is not happy with how this turned out. Alex Montez is back with Chris Jericho. What's next for him? He goes on and says, it's something nice to Montez, but 2.0 and Daniel Garcia walk in the room. Jericho says the trio shouldn't gloat about what they did to Eddie Kingston because Kingston is going to break into their houses. What they need to be doing is going to get wood, nails, and chains to barricade their houses so Eddie Kingston doesn't break in and beat the stuffing out of them. He can't talk any longer because he realizes that Matt Lee has a square head. He said that he has a square head over and over. Calls him ugly SpongeBob SquarePants. Tells him to think twice about interrupting him again, or next time he will knock his teeth down his throat. Parker tells Jericho maybe he should watch his mouth, and the group leaves. So Daniel Garcia's got Eddie Kingston on Friday. Daniel Garcia and 2.0 have now interrupted Jericho and Eddie Kingston. Who else could we see joining these two and possibly having some kind of big match between 2.0, Eddie Kingston, Chris Jericho, and one other guy? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Backstage, we have a Friendsgiving time with the Women's Champion, Rebel, and Tony Schiavone. Jamie Hayter was supposed to be here, but it didn't go well. She starts off by saying that it didn't go well and it was starting off bad tonight because Rosa got the win. She wants to apologize for that happening. Obviously, they're still just slowly planting their seeds and building that up slowly. This is what's nice about AEW. Even though I don't like the Women's Champion, she's going to lose that title to Thunder Rosa, obviously. They don't just rush and get something done. They plant seeds. They plant seeds and they let those seeds, they plant those seeds. They pour some water on them. They let those seeds grow and mature and manifest into what we're going to see. Now, This was I don't know what it was with this. Like, they did a video package before the match with Jamie Hayter and Thunder Rosa where the Faker was talking about how Jamie Hayter was going to win, and the volume on her mic was like really low. It was the same thing here too. I don't know how that was, like, I don't know what that was all about. Tony Schiavone decides to bring up how Riho was never actually eliminated from the Battle Royal match at All Out. Really? What? I don't know why. Tony Khan announced that Black Friday deal match for Friday. If Riho beats the champion in a non-title match, she gets a title shot. And of course, the champion is not happy. And I'm thinking, why do we keep booking WWE style right here? No, that is not what I want to see. I don't like the champion because she sucks in the ring. But we don't need to be doing this. This is the second time in about a month that Tony Khan has booked a match in the women's division, mind you, not the men's, not the tag team. And if the person beats the champion, they get a title match. Can we please stop doing that? Seriously, can we please stop doing that? It's stupid as shit. That's WWE booking. It's pretty much a championship contenders match. The champion should not be wrestling non-title matches and saying, "Oh well, if this person wins the match, they get a title match." Yes, Scorpio Sky pinned Chris Jericho in a tag team match in 2019, got a title shot. That's one thing. It's set up to a bigger thing, but like, I don't like, if Riho beats the champion, why would I want to see? I don't know. I don't like when you do this. Don't do stupid booking like this, please. Now what you all came for, Bryan Danielson versus Colt Cabana. I'm just kidding, but yeah, this match happened. This was a good match. I think it could have been a little bit better. Bryan Danielson, I still want to call him Daniel Bryan. I think everyone wants to still call him Daniel Bryan because we went 9 years or like 11 years or whatever it was calling him Daniel Bryan. It's just wow. But Bryan Danielson got some cheers until he came out. And this guy, you put him in a match with Colt Cabana, unless they're gonna shake hands and do and respect the code of honor, Bryan Danielson was not gonna get the cheers that it was. This was pro Colt Cabana. He attempts to go for the Juji Katami immediately, the cross arm breaker, but Colt Cabana gets to the ropes. Bryan Danielson with a cheap trick the kick to the back of to his butt, pretty much. Puts his hands up like, nope. Cabana laughs it off and tries for a submission on his own. Danielson gets out of it and lands a few big kicks, followed by chops. Cabana fires back with one of his own. Danielson puts Cabana down and throws down some more kicks at his opponent, chest and back. He asks to hear it from the crowd, and they boo him. We get a big Colt Cabana chant. Cabana drops the bionic elbow on Bryan, charges in, but nobody home. Bryan hits a release German suplex. He goes with the running drop kicks in the corner. Kicks and chops on Cabana. He's then put on the top turnbuckle, looking for a super back suplex, but Cabana punches him off. Cabana nails a moonsault. Cover 2. He grabs the wrist. He grabs Cabana's. Bryan Danielson grabs Cabana's wrist. Oh wait, it's the other way around. Yeah, he does grab the wrist, and he starts elbowing Bryan Danielson. But after 2, Danielson gets out of it. He trips him, stomps him in the face. Cabana might have had his wrist, but Bryan Danielson turned it around, stomps his head in, which gets massive boos. Transitions into the label lock, but before he locks it in, he decides he's going to flex and show off that he is one of the strongest out there. Puts him in the lock. Cabana taps out, and that was that. Colt Cabana gets beat by Bryan Danielson. And post-match, he's very slow to release the hold while looking at the ref. Tony heads to the ring to talk with him. We go to commercial break. We come back. He asks Bryan Danielson about not making many friends these days. He says, when he made his debut in Chicago, he got a different reaction. Then wonders if this is him or the fans. And he's got one word to describe that. And you know what that word is, ladies and gentlemen? That's right. Fickle. He says not only did he kick his head in, he kicked out his tooth. And he does show, and they did show this, it was in the picture-in-picture. You saw him messing with something on the mat. He had Colt Cabana's tooth in his hand. He says next week we're heading to Atlanta. And he heard there's more Dark Order members from there, so he's going to challenge any one of those guys to fight him next week. He continues to lead to an ultimate head kicking with the Hangman Page. Out comes, you mentioned his name, just like Hangman mentioned Bryan Danielson last week. You mentioned his name, out comes the champ. Page says that'll be the last of Bryan Danielson kicking anyone in the head. He says, this building right here, this town, it has a special place in his heart. I don't see any other reason why we can't just have this match right here, right now, tonight. Bryan Danielson says, of course you would say that after I already wrestled a match. To me, that's not cowboy shit. That's coward shit. Page says if he doesn't want a title match, he's not leaving without a fight. He puts the title down and says, you know what? I'm going to let you throw the first punch. Walks up to him, puts his hands behind his back. Danielson says, don't insult me like that. Slaps him, and the fight is on. Page with a boot to Bryan's face as he's outside, goes for the buckshot lariat, and of course, Bryan Danielson bails to a chorus of boos. This is fucking awesome. This Bryan Danielson is fucking awesome. This match is going to be great. They have enough Dark Order members left. We have Grayson, Silver, Reynolds, 5, and 10. That's 5 more weeks. So we have, we have the entire month, just December, is going to be him kicking people off. Have a contract signing on this January 5th, which will be the first episode on TBS, and then Battle of the Belts 3 days later. We have Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page for the AEW Championship. Of course, Bryan Danielson's not going to win the match, and we'll see how we go from here. Friday's Rampage match is Daniel Garcia versus Eddie Kingston. The Faker versus Riho. Black Friday deal match. If Riho wins, she gets a title shot. And Bobby Fish and Adam Cole versus Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta. Next Wednesday, we have Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. The AEW TBS Tournament match. The last of the second round before we get into the quarterfinals round, where the winner of this one will take on Nyla Rose. I'm going with Ruby Soho. I believe Ruby Soho should be the first ever AEW TBS Women's Champion, or the TBS Champion, and that is that. Main event, Pac, Cody, and the Lucha Bros taking on Malachi Black, Andrade El Idolo, and the AAA World Tag Team Champions, FTR, with Tully Blanchard. Now, I'm going to bring something to attention here. Before even Cody came out, we had the heels come out first. They were all good and everything. Malachi Black has the best entrance still. However, when the Death Triangle came out, Pac body language just seemed off. He seemed like he wanted nothing to do with this. He knew, I don't think it has to do with him and the Lucha Bros, but he knew he's going to have to team with Cody again. He wanted nothing to do with this. Cody came out, and he's just off to the side. He wants nothing to do with Cody. He can't stand Cody. And as they were coming down to the ring, the Lucha Bros and Cody were getting to the ring. Pac just slowly walked behind them. Now, nothing like that, nothing major happened in the match between these guys. But it feels like Pac is going down a different road, and I feel we're gonna have a split between the Lucha Bros and Pac coming very soon. He just felt like something was off with Pac when he was coming to the ring. Maybe it's the start of something. Now, I've been waiting for crowds to do this. Cody Rhodes started this match. He takes his belt off after a few minutes and throws it into the crowd. Pac tags himself in, and whoever got that weight belt, thank you, Chicago, thank you. Because they took that belt and they threw it back at the ring. Andrade gets this belt and throws it under the ring, and the crowd just bursts in applause and cheers because they want nothing to do with Cody. I was hoping to get an ECW one night stand type vibe where he threw the belt out and the crowd in Chicago would have said, throw it back, throw it back. But no. I thank the crowd member, whoever it was who got that weight belt. First off, Cody should not be throwing a weight belt into the fucking ring, into the fucking crowd. You're gonna hit somebody with the metal of that sometime, and they're gonna have the right to fucking sue you. Take your T-shirt that you wear to the ring. If you wear a T-shirt, throw it out there. That's fine to do. Don't be throwing a fucking weight belt. I think it's stupid that he's been throwing the weight belt since day one. It seems like. It's dumb. It's dangerous. Somebody's gonna get fucking hurt one of these days, and then AEW's gonna get fucking a lawsuit on their hands because Cody's been fucking careless. This match, in my opinion, was a fucking mess from start to finish. I'm really just tired of 8-man tag matches, 9-man tag matches, 10-man tag matches, whatever 10-man tag matches. If it ain't the normal tag team match, trios matches sometimes get out of hand too. But if it's not a normal tag team match, I really don't give a shit. The only other thing really that happened in this match is the fact that everyone's getting their shit and everyone's hitting the moves and stuff. And then Arn and Tully decide they're gonna get in the ring. They're gonna square off with each other. Jose gets in the ring for whatever reason. He takes his jacket off. He wants to join up with Tully to take on Arn. Tully and Arn turn to him and punch him out of the ring. Alex Zombie-Hunters then takes him and throws him into the crowd. All this shit's going on. All crazy shit. Mess around. All of a sudden, we get Penta. Not Penta. Pac gets misted by Black. Andrade nails the hammerlock DDT. Black kicks Rhodes off the apron in the stomach. And cover 1, 2, 3. Andrade El Idolo, Malachi Black, and FTR win a very messy 8-person tag match I don't need the theatrics of, hey, we're going to tease a match between Owen and Tully over and over and over again. Oh, well, they're doing it because they want to bring you that nostalgia feel. You have Owen and Tully out there. You don't need anything else. Raspberry is some good shit. Now, this was a really, other than the messy ending of that match, and the mess of the match, this was a really good show. Like, when we look back 10, 15, 20 years at promos, like, when you see a promo that is going to stand the test of time. I can name 3 in AEW that are going to do that. Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk's promo battle, MJF and CM Punk's promo off, Jon Moxley's promo after debuting in AEW, the Paradigm Shift promo. Those 3 promos are going to stand the test of time. When AEW is 10, 15 years, 20 years old, and they're playing highlights, and we're on the AEW network, whatever they're going to call it, and you get, or like, when Double or Nothing comes around in 10, 15 years, and they're playing classic moments from Double or Nothing. I know it didn't happen on Double or Nothing on the broadcast, but they're going to play the Jon Moxley promo after his debut, where he talks about being alive, and this is what he calls a fucking paradigm shift. That was a great fucking promo. Or when Rampage is 10 years old, and they're going over, this is what happened in the last 10 years of Rampage, and you get the CM Punk and Eddie Kingston match promo. Eddie, and of course, then you have the Christian Cage winning the Impact Wrestling Championship on the first episode of Rampage. Moments like that. When AEW on TNT, like, heck, they might, like, on the final episode of AEW on TNT in December of this year, they might do a highlight package of the great moments on TNT for this Wednesday night show. That promo is going to be in there. Another moment was when Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho had the contract signing, the first contract signing in AEW. That was a damn good contract signing. Things like that. This promo we had tonight is going to be a part of that history, and we're going to talk about it. And honestly, if you're somebody coming up in the wrestling world, and you want to see how to cut a promo, you need to see the 2 promos that CM Punk and Eddie Kingston, CM Punk has done with Eddie Kingston and MJF, because those promos should absolutely be in any, like, promo class. If there's promo classes at these schools that you go to learn how to wrestle, this is something that you should be looking at, and how to cut a promo, how to come back, how to do some back and forth between each other, because there are 2 different promos, because one was very personal from 2 guys who came up in the business about the same time. I think Eddie Kingston came up a couple years after CM Punk, and one is the old school versus the new school of CM Punk from the early 2000s and MJF of the 2020s. Just what you can get, and how you can have one guy have one promo with a guy like Eddie Kingston, and then have a different type of promo with MJF. And you look at these 2 promos, by the end of the one with Eddie Kingston, CM Punk was booed. He was getting booed out of the building. Here, of course, they're in Chicago, which is a smart place to have this promo. He's cheered as the biggest babyface in the world. Good shit. More good shit, Bryan Danielson. A guy who hasn't changed his character one fucking bit is now the biggest fucking heel going for the AEW World Championship. You want to know how he goes back to being babyface? When they have the match, and they have a damn good match, Hangman Page beats him. Hangman Page sticks around waiting to see what happens with Bryan Danielson. Puts his hand out to shake Bryan Danielson's hand, and Bryan Danielson gives him that handshake, and we're off from there. And then the next Wednesday, Bryan Danielson moves on to whatever Bryan Danielson is going to move on to. This was great as well. The TBS Women's Tournament, I said, the TBS Title Tournament, Ruby Soho, Chris Statlander, that's going to be a good match on Wednesday. That match is going to lead to, I'm still calling it, and I know other people are, Ruby Soho versus Thunder Rosa. Ruby Soho wins the championship in a damn good match, which will probably be the best match in the entire tournament. Now, the Bobby Fish, Adam Cole thing, I don't like. When Kenny Omega comes back, one or two things happen. One, the Young Bucks turn on Kenny Omega and stay with Adam Cole, or by the time Kenny Omega comes back, if Kyle O'Reilly is not in AEW and Red Dragon is not reformed, I will be absolutely shocked. And when Kenny Omega comes back, Young Bucks turn on Adam Cole. Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole reform the original version of the Undisputed Era. They can't call them that, but they reform that, and then we get a feud between the Elite and the former Undisputed Era. And these guys are baby faces, and the Elite are heels. Or maybe, just maybe, somehow, some way, the Bucks and Kenny Omega, who aren't even in the title pictures right now, they get turned babyface, and the team of Red Dragon and Adam Cole, the former Undisputed Era, become the big-time heels. Anything can happen. There are so many different things they could do. I do like the fact that we have pretty much established that the Christian Cage and Jurassic Express feud with the Elite is done. They have moved on. I also like the fact that the Best Friends in HFO seems to be done. That should have ended months ago. Thankfully, it's probably over. Tomohiro Ishii made sure of that. So, going to be interesting to see where we go. They have got so much going on. This is why we love Wednesday nights, because we come out of this show every single week. I know, we all know 3 hours of TV is a detriment to professional wrestling. The only things that should be 3 hours plus is a pay-per-view. The sweet spot for a professional wrestling TV show is 2 hours. Plain and simple. You can go an hour if you're Ring of Honor or NXT before Vince McMahon got his grubby hands on it. But for a major company like AEW, 2 hours is where you stay for your main show. But there are many times, many times, I am watching this show, and I'm like, it's already 10 o'clock. Damn, I wish this was 3 hours. Not really, but I wish we'd have another 10 minutes. That's how good these shows are. Yes, the main event was a mess, but it didn't kill the show. It brought it down just a slightly bit, but the rest of the show was good. The rest of the show was great. That opening promo, you had a great TBS Title Tournament match. You had Bryan Danielson kicking the head and tooth of Colt Cabana to the moon. And just so much going on. Jericho and Eddie Kingston seem to be starting the feud with the 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. We're going to see where that goes. And there's nothing else. There's like nothing really to complain about this show. Obviously, the final days of the Faker being women's champion are starting to tick down because she just kicked Jamie Hayter in the face, and that's going to start being the catalyst of why she is no longer going to be the women's champion. And when Jamie Hayter's gone, Rebel's out of the picture as well for whatever somehow, some way, it's going to be Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. And it's going to be so sweet when an actual legitimate person who can carry that women's title to brighter days beats a paper champion who should have never held the championship at this time in her career. And we can actually see the women's division start elevating because Thunder Rosa makes other people better. The current women's champion does not. But there is so much that we are going to be looking forward to. I am going to be so happy to see what comes next. I am looking forward. We came out of this show And there are two matches that I am so looking forward to. And we all know one is Bryan Danielson and Hangman Page. We were looking forward to that since last week. But also, whenever the fuck they book CM Punk versus MJF, whether it's at Winter is Coming, Battle of the Belt, Revolution, then honestly, if these guys just promo off between now and February, I could see it happening. You're not going to do it every week. Maybe we get some video packages, whatever. This is going to be a match that I'm fucking looking forward to. And with the fact that, yes, Bryan Danielson has 5 more members of the Dark Order, and there just so happens to be 5 more Wednesday nights on TNT. 5 more Wednesday nights of the year 2021. That just conveniently means that Danielson is going to kill every member of the Dark Order, and then the match will be set up for Battle of the Belts. There is, honestly, because if you have Bryan Danielson be the number 1 contender now, Winter is Coming could be too obvious and too easy. But it'd be like, man, they still had a couple more members of the Dark Order. No, Bryan Danielson's going to go through everybody. The one match in that I'm looking forward to over every single one of them is Bryan Danielson versus John Silver. Him and Ten should have a hell of a good match too. John Silver. Yeah, John Silver. Alex Reynolds will be fine. 5 will be fine as well. But I'm looking forward to John Silver and Bryan Danielson. Stu Grayson is probably the second one that will be a hell of a match. Just so much good stuff in this show. And so much to look forward to. We're not going to see it all next week. We will find out more matches going into next Wednesday. We only have Ruby Soho versus Chris Statlander. It's going to be a hell of a final stretch. And this is the difference between WWE and AEW. WWE goes into this lull. Survivor Series is done. We don't have another pay-per-view for WWE until day 1, January 1st, 2022. So what is WWE going to do for the next 5 fucking weeks? Next to nothing. Seth Rollins will probably get his title match at day 1. Morgan will probably have a title match at day 1. And honestly, what we saw this past Monday was an embarrassment. I don't expect anything different next week. And that is what's going to suck. And it's just going to continue to suck week in and week out. Whereas AEW, I'm looking forward to Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. This match they built up for weeks. Whatever else they announce, I'm sure we're all going to be looking forward to. The fact that they haven't named any other match, I'm not surprised because we usually find out what's going to happen next Wednesday night on Rampage anyway. For the most part. So I can't wait. I'm looking forward to next week. Which again, we'll have the full card, if not most of the full card, next on Friday. But AEW just hitting their stride. It's kind of stupid that they went and decided we're going to go live at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, because that does hurt them in the ratings. But this is good shit. And if you're not watching All Elite Wrestling, if you're a real professional wrestling fan and you're not watching AEW, then I don't know what the hell you're doing with your life. This shit is great. This is just, it's like, I know it's great that they do 4 pay-per-views a year, not every month, because it would kind of hurt the way they go. And I think they could still pull it off anyway. But I know Battle of the Belts is going to be like their version of Clash of Champions. I wish there were 2 pay-per-views a quarter. Because my God, they are doing so much that it's like, I can't wait for Revolution. Tickets are going to sell out whatever the main event of that show is going to be, which in my opinion could be Adam Cole versus Hangman Adam Page. Or MJF versus Hangman Page. But it just feels like if you take... Because if MJF faces Hangman Adam Page, it's going to be a title change. Absolutely. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because if they hold off CM Punk versus MJF until Revolution... Who's Hangman Page going to face at Revolution? The only person I can see being is Adam Cole. We have enough time. Adam Cole could go on a couple wins, win some matches, and be put up there. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm calling it now. Whether it's a Winter is Coming or a Battle of the Belts, Christian Cage is turning on the Jurassic Express. The fact that he came out there tonight and said, I'm going to make sure they win the titles. Just tells you all you need to know. Cage will turn on them at Battle of the Belts. You got between that and Revolution, whatever Revolution is, I don't know off the top of my head if it's even been announced yet. But that will be a match at that pay-per-view. What is Christian's reasoning for turning on him? We'll have to wait and find out when the turn happens and his explanation afterwards. It's like, you could just sit here for days and for hours and hours and days and weeks trying to figure out what AEW is going to do, what direction they're going to go. And you go, okay, how will we get from Hangman Page and Bryan Danielson to Adam Cole versus Hangman Page because I'm pretty sure CM Punk and MJF is going to be held off till the pay-per-view. And if it's not Winter is Coming, it's going to be the pay-per-view, and that's going to probably be in February or early March. But how do we get to Hangman Page and Adam Cole? What way does Adam Cole have to go? Because it would be, honestly, in my opinion, it would be a waste of... It'd be money left on the table if you don't bring up their history together. And how apparently they were tag team partners in the Bullet Club or something. I didn't follow Hangman Page or Adam Cole until he came to NXT, and Hangman Page came here. But I've been seeing people mentioning how Adam Cole and Adam Page used to be a tag team. I don't know, but if that's true, you're leaving money on the table if that's not the match you have at Revolution. We'll have to wait and see. There's just so much good to go, and you're sitting there. Can't wait till Wednesday night. I can't wait till Wednesday night. Friday can be skipped sometimes. I mean, yeah, we have Bobby Fish and Adam Cole versus the Best Friends, and a couple other matches. But it's like most of the time, unless you get a Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan Danielson, or Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston, or some big match like that, Fridays, for the most part, can be skipped, and you can let content creators like me and others watch it, and you can just be told if a match is worth watching. But Wednesday night, you're going to get there, you're going to watch that show, whether you're in the building or whether you're watching at home, you're going to go out there, you're going to watch that show, and you're going to come out of that show going, man, I just love what I just saw, and I can't wait till next week. Or if a pay-per-view is coming up, it's like, man, I can't wait for that pay-per-view because they are just on a roll. They're on a roll. This is going to be great. And this is definitely worth everything. I cannot wait to see what AEW does, because I love professional wrestling. I love this. This is what professional wrestling should be. This is how professional wrestling should always be. Long-term booking, good storylines, characters we can invest in, and can't wait to see what happens at Winter is Coming, what matches we're going to get there. Will Hangman Page versus Bryan Danielson be at Winter is Coming? I feel that's a little too early. You don't really have to have that match there, because you could have the Women's Champion and the TNT Championship and the Tag Team Championships. You don't have to have the world title on every one of these big pay-per-view quality shows. My question is, with Battle of the Belts being debuting in January, is Winter is Coming going to be the last pay-per-view, like the last theme Wednesday night show? Because if you're doing these Battle of the Belts type shows, why would you do the theme pay-per-views? The theme pay-per-view quality type Wednesday night shows? I don't know. But that is all. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of tonight's show. In my opinion, the main event was a mess. I just don't care for these 8-man tag team matches. Look out for Pac, because he does seem to be he seems to be feeling like he's looking a little indifferent to everybody. But hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds of the France Club, find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance and find me on Instagram, The France Club. And I will see you guys on Friday for SmackDown and Rampage. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.